In a world where religion, politics, and personal belief often collide in unpredictable ways, fictional narratives sometimes explore scenarios that reflect the tensions of our time. One such imagined scenario envisions a global controversy sparked when T.D. Jakes, a prominent American preacher, allegedly calls Ibrahim Traoré, a political figure from West Africa, a fake Muslim. This fictional event sets the stage for an intricate examination of how religious authority, cultural expectations, and international politics intertwine to shape public perception. In this imagined story, T.D. Jakes, known globally as a Christian leader, is portrayed as stepping into political and religious discourse of Africa. The catalyst for this fictional drama is a speech delivered in an international interfaith conference in Lagos, Nigeria. The conference, themed around faith and authenticity in the modern world, was designed to promote dialogue among various religious groups, including Christians, Muslims, and traditional faith practitioners. In this fictional narrative, T.D. Jakes, while addressing the crowd, makes a statement that reverberates across continents. He questions the authenticity of Ibrahim Traoré's Islamic faith, labeling him a fake Muslim in front of a diverse global audience. The fictional accusation carries significant weight. Ibrahim Traoré, in this narrative, is not only a political leader, but also someone who projected himself as a defender of Islamic identity in his region. His rise to prominence is characterized by his strong statements about faith, unity, and independence from foreign influence. In the story, he is portrayed as a man whose religious image is deeply tied to his political legitimacy. Thus, when a figure like T.D. Jakes calls his faith into question, it sends ripples through both political and religious circles. The controversy erupts almost instantly in this imagined world. Social media platforms light up with debates, hashtags trend globally, and news outlets, both mainstream and independent, pick up the story. Some commentators in this fictional setting argue that T.D. Jakes overstepped his bounds, interfering in the internal affairs of another nation and misrepresenting a faith that is not his own. Others, however, applaud his boldness, claiming that religious hypocrisy must always be called out, regardless of political sensitivities. Central to this fictional essay is the exploration of why such a statement would be made in the first place. The narrative imagines that T.D. Jakes' comments stem from his perception that Ibrahim Traoré's religious displays were more political than spiritual. In several past speeches, the fictional Traoré had been depicted as using Islamic references to rally support while allegedly engaging in practices that contradicted traditional Islamic teachings. According to the fictionalized version of Jakes, this duality undermined the sincerity of Traoré's faith. The essay delves into the aftermath of this fictional proclamation. The government in Traoré's country releases an official statement condemning Jakes' remarks as an insult not only to their leader, but also to their national sovereignty and religious harmony. Clerics in the region hold emergency meetings, issuing declarations that reaffirm the leader's Islamic credentials. Massive rallies are organized where thousands chant slogans defending Traoré's faith and demanding an apology from T.D. Jakes. Meanwhile, in this imagined tale, Jakes' own followers are divided. Some believe that as a Christian preacher, his role is to speak truth to power, even if it offends others. They circulate edited clips of his speech, framing it as a prophetic declaration against hypocrisy. Others, however, fear that this has opened a dangerous interfaith wound, one that may be difficult to heal. Churches and mosques that work together on humanitarian projects suddenly find themselves on opposite sides of a heated debate. One of the most striking features of this fictional controversy is how it exposes the fragile line between faith as a personal belief and faith as a political instrument. The fictional Ibrahim Traoré is shown as a leader who uses Islamic language to strengthen his public image, yet his actions are constantly scrutinized for inconsistencies. T.D. Jakes, in this narrative, becomes a lightning rod for the global discussion on authenticity. Who has the right to determine whether another person's faith is genuine? Is such a determination ever possible or even desirable? The essay explores the fictional reactions in the Muslim world. Some religious scholars in this imagined scenario dismiss Jakes' statement outright, arguing that a Christian bishop has no theological authority to judge a Muslim's sincerity. Others see it as an opportunity to address the broader issue of political Islam and how faith can be co-opted by political leaders for personal gain. A few go as far as to say that while Jake's language was inflammatory, the conversation provoked is necessary. From an international relations perspective, this fictional moment becomes a case study in how religious statements can affect diplomacy. Countries aligned with Traoré's government condemned Jake's remarks, while some Western media outlets subtly frame the controversy as an example of how fragile interfaith dialogue remains in regions marked by colonial history and external influence. Diplomatic channels become tense as calls for an apology grow louder, and interfaith organizations scramble to mediate. In the fictional narrative, T.D. Jakes eventually issues a carefully worded statement. He clarifies that his comments were not meant to insult Islam or its followers, but to call out what he perceived as religious posturing by a political leader. This statement does little to calm the storm. For some, it confirms their belief that he had spoken out of turn. For others, it reinforces his reputation as a preacher unafraid to challenge power. The essay then turns inward, asking what lessons this imagined episode holds for the world at large. Firstly, it underscores the power of words in a hyperconnected age. A single statement at a conference can be clipped, shared, and interpreted in countless ways, often divorced from its original intent. Secondly, it highlights the danger of conflating religious authenticity with political legitimacy. When leaders wrap themselves in the cloak of faith, they invite both devotion and scrutiny. Thirdly, it reminds us that interfaith dialogue is a delicate art, requiring humility, respect, and a keen awareness of historical sensitivities. In this fictional setting, ordinary people are not spared from the ripple effects. Young Muslims and Christians who have been working together on development projects find their trust strained. Social media influencers fan the flames of division, while others attempt to bridge the gap with messages of tolerance. In some cities, interfaith prayers are held, asking for wisdom and peace to prevail. The fictional world mirrors our real one, complex, messy, and often caught between genuine faith and political maneuvering. As the controversy slowly fades in this imagined timeline, both men are left with their legacies altered. Ibrahim Traoré emerges more entrenched in his position, his supporters rallying behind him with renewed fervor. T.D. Jakes, though criticized, also gains a reputation in certain circles for his willingness to confront what he saw as inconsistency. The long-term effects are mixed. Some relationships,